Yes, PPT is ready.
Yeah. Okay, so today, now in this session, we will be starting with sorting algorithms. I am Anurag Kulkarni from VIT Pune. So in this session, we are going to cover what is sorting, why do we need sorting, then the various types of sorting algorithms. So first of all, what is sorting? It is the process of arranging items systematically. It can be in ascending order or it can be in descending order. Now, if we arrange the data from some smallest to largest, then it is said to be in ascending order. Otherwise, if we arrange the data from largest elements to the smallest elements, then it is said to be in descending order. Also now, the sorting algorithm specifies the way to arrange the data. So this is what sorting algorithms, this is what sorting is and why do we use sorting. Now, why do we need sorting? Now, many applications require data to be in a particular ordered format. Now, example के लिए लेते हैं हम कि एग्जाम है, तो एग्जाम का रिजल्ट डिक्लेयर करना है, तो टॉप 10 अगर डिक्लेयर करने होते हैं और डेटा सॉर्टेड नहीं होता, तो इट विल टेक अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम टू कैलकुलेट द लिस्ट ऑफ 10 टॉपर्स. तो अगर जेई का कंसिडर करते हैं तो 10 लाख से ज्यादा बच्चे बैठते हैं जेई के लिए. सो उनमें से 10 टॉपर्स अनसॉर्टेड लिस्ट से निकालना इट इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट. So otherwise, if we sort that list in descending order based on the marks, then it will be much easier to find the list of toppers. Now, many algorithms also require data to be sorted. अभी इसके बाद हम सर्चिंग एल्गोरिथम सीखने वाले हैं. उसमें जो हम बाइनरी सर्च सीखने वाले हैं उसके लिए डेटा को सॉर्टेड होना जरूरी है. इट ऑल्सो गिव्स अ ह्यूमन रीडेबल आउटपुट. नाउ अगर आपने डिक्शनरी या फिर टेलीफोन डायरेक्टरी देखी होगी तो सब कुछ सॉर्टेड होता है. अगर सॉर्टेड नहीं होता तो इट विल टेक अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम टू फाइंड अ पर्टिकुलर वर्ड. तो अगर आप कोई भी लेटर ढूंढ रहे हो, चलो सॉर्ट ढूंढ रहे हो, अगर वो सीक्वेंशियली नहीं है तो इट विल बिकम वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू गो थ्रू द होल डिक्शनरी एंड देन फाइंड द वर्ड सॉर्ट. Here it is so also telephone directory is an example of sorted list. Now sorting algorithms are classified into 3 types. First one is in place sorting and the next one is not in place sorting. The second one is stable sorting and unstable sorting. Then comes adaptive and non-adaptive sorting. Now first we will take a look at in place and not in place sorting. In place sorting, algorithm which doesn't require extra space and sorting happens in place, for example in array itself. एग्जाम्पल बबल सॉर्ट. अब बबल सॉर्ट में क्या होता है, जो सॉर्टिंग होता है या फिर जो इंटरचेंजिंग ऑफ एलिमेंट्स होता है वो एरे के अंदर ही होता है. वी जस्ट टेक वन मोर टेम्पररी वेरिएबल एंड इंटरचेंज द वेरिएबल्स इन द एरे इटसेल्फ. नाउ मूविंग ऑन टू द नॉट इन प्लेस सॉर्टिंग, algorithm that requires space which is more than or equal to the elements being sorted. अब मर्ज सॉर्ट क्या होता है? मर्ज सॉर्ट मीनिंग में ही आता है कि हम 2 लिस्ट मर्ज करते हैं और उसके साथ we make a final list. So it takes a lot amount of space. That is why it is called as not in place sorting. Now talking about stable sorting. Stable sorting, after sorting the contents, the algorithm does not change the sequence of similar content in which they appear. For example, bubble sort. अभी इस इमेज में है कि 26 दो बार appear होता है इस लिस्ट में. Okay, so after sorting, the 26 which appeared earlier tends to be at the lesser position than the 26 which appeared at the greater position. So अभी यहाँ पे 26 6 पोजीशन में है, वो शिफ्ट होके आ गया 3rd पोजीशन पे, और जो 26 8 पोजीशन पे था वो आके हो गया 4th प्लेस पे. अगर ये 3rd पे होता, 3rd वाला 4th पे होता, then it would be unstable sorting. This is what it is. After sorting the contents, the algorithm changes the sequence of similar content in which they appear. अभी selection sort में ऐसा होता है कि जो 26 लास्ट में आता है ना वो फर्स्ट आ जाता है, और जो पहले आया था 26 it comes after that. So this is example of unstable sorting. Adaptive and non-adaptive sorting. Algorithm which takes into picture previously sorted elements and tries not to reorder them. Bubble sort. अगर कोई element sorted है तो bubble sort will not force reorder them. It will just take into consideration that yes, the element is sorted and it will move on. Like in case of non-adaptive, algorithm doesn't take into consideration what if the elements are sorted or not. For example, it is the selection sort. So selection sort को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता कि पहले से ही वो element sorted है या नहीं. It tries to it forces them to reorder themselves. So this is what adaptive and non-adaptive sorting is. Now there are also various types of sorting algorithms. The first one is bubble sort. Then we have selection sort. After that we have insertion sort. Then we have quick sort, merge sort. There are various sorting algorithms. In this session, we are going to learn about bubble sort. So now what is bubble sorting? It is a very easy algorithm and it is very easy to understand and implement. Now in bubble sort, swapping takes place sequentially. अभी कैसा होता है, जो एलिमेंट फर्स्ट पोजीशन पे है उसका स्वैपिंग सेकंड पोजीशन के साथ ही होता है. ऐसा नहीं होता कि जो एलिमेंट फर्स्ट पोजीशन में उसका स्वैपिंग होता है फोर्थ एलिमेंट के साथ. Now comparison of element happens with successor. Interchanging takes place if they are not in order. अगर interchanging तभी होगा अगर वो order में नहीं है. तो अभी देखो यहाँ पे 1 और 5 order में नहीं थे, sorting हो गया. अभी ये देखो ये फिर से sort हो गया. Now it won't compare with 6 because 6 is already sorted. Now again interchanging takes place. अभी 4 और 3 compare हुआ, interchanging takes place. Now जो interchange है वो mostly happens like a bubbling. That is the heaviest or the largest element appears at the end of the array. And जैसे बबल पानी का बबल आता है ना ऊपर सरफेस पे, वैसे ही आता है, इसलिए इसको नाम पड़ा है बबल सॉर्टिंग. Now this is the algorithm of bubble sort. Step 1, we have to start with the first element at index 0. Then we have to compare these elements with its successor. Now the element which is at 0, we have to compare it with the element which is at position 1. Now going on to the step 2. Now if the element is greater than its successor, then swap the numbers. अगर जो element 0 पे है और जो element 1 पे है, अगर उनमें से 1 वाला छोटा होगा 0 से, then the swapping will take place. Step 3. Now, if the element is not greater than its successor, then continue without swapping. Now, अगर element 1 वो अगर greater है 0 से, then it will just continue. It won't interchange. Step 3, increment the index and repeat these steps. So we have to just repeat these steps again and again. So algorithm समझ में आया है क्या सबको? Bubble sort. Okay, so I will try to explain it through a bit of Excel sheet. Okay, so consider this is an array of 8 elements going on from index number 0 to index number 7. ठीक है, अभी क्या होगा, पहले step 1 क्या है, we will take the element at position 0 and we will compare it with element at position 1. अभी क्या है, 34 is greater than 12. That's why swapping will take place. अभी क्या करेंगे हम, ये जो 34 है वो एक temp variable में store करेंगे. Then we will take this successive element and shift it to position 1, and again we will take this element and shift it to position. Yes. Now again we will compare element 1 and element 2. So as you can see, 34 is lesser than 87, so interchanging won't happen. Now we will compare the position element at position 2 with the element at position 3. Now we can observe that 25 is lesser than 87, so swapping will again take place. And we will again explore this. Now again we will compare the element at position 3 with element at position 4. Now as it is observed that again 9 is lesser than 87, so swapping will take place. And again we will compare element at position 4 with element at position 5. Now again 65 is lesser than 87, so again sorting will take place. Now, as you can see, 98 is greater than 87, so the swapping won't take place. Now 5 is less than 98, so again swapping will happen. As you can see, this was just one iteration. Now for sorting an array with a number of elements n, then the passes which we have to do is n minus 1. So here this is just the first pass. So after first pass, the largest element comes at the last of the array, end of the array. अब समझा सबको? So is everybody clear with the algorithm now? So let's move on to the code. And this is our main function. First of all, we will just print out welcome to bubble sort program and end this statement. Then we will initialize an array with name A and its size. So after that, we will print enter size of array and take input from the user. What should be the size of the array in this line. After that, we will ask for the array elements. Then we will use the for loop for taking in the array elements. After that, we will print the array elements using the for loop. After that, we will send it to a function bubble sort. So this is the function. I will just show you how these things happen, and then we will later go on to. So first of all, you have to enter the size of the array. Let us take the size of the array to be 4. Then we have to enter the elements. Now let's enter the elements in the reverse order. So it will print out array elements are 4, 3, 2, 1, and it will give us the sorted list. Sorted elements are 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we will jump to the code, understanding of the code. Now, first of all, when we have to pass an array to a function. Now, how do we pass an array to a function? We pass the array as well as we pass the size of the array. Now, remember, we have taken the size of the array from the user at the beginning of the program. Now, we will pass this array all along with the size to this function. Now, this is the bubble function. So, this is the bubble function. We will initialize a variable temp like I showed you in the Excel sheet, that we have to store an element for some temporary purpose here. So first of all, this external for loop is for the iteration process, number of passes. Now this internal for loop compares the elements. Now, first of all, this is the code. So we start with I equal to 0 and I is equal to I is less than size minus 1. Now we know that array has got, if an array has 8 elements, then the size, the last element index is n minus 1. So here we go with size minus 1. Then we initialize the first index at j equal to 0 and j is less than size minus I minus 1. Now, why do we take as size minus I minus 1? Now, if the last element is sorted, we don't want to again compare it with this element, right? 6th and 7th. We know that after first pass, 7th element is sorted. So again, we don't have to compare this. That's why we just do it I minus 1. Now we check the, if we using the if condition, we check who is the greatest element. So here we can see that 34 is the greatest element. So the swapping will not take place. This condition will be false and it will just return to the for loop again. Now, if the condition is true, then we store the element at j position in the temp variable, and then the array element at j plus 1 position is stored in the array element j position. Then again, we store the temporary variable in array j plus 1 position. So this is the code, and we can again run it. you can see the result as sorted elements are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I had given the elements as 4, 5, 3, 2, 1. So these are sorted. Now, do you have any question? Okay, you want the code again. So did you understand the main function, what we are doing in the main function? Yes, okay. So in the main function, first of all, we are initializing an array with a maximum length of 10. And we are also creating a variable size. Now first we will ask the user to enter the size of the array, what he desires. So first of all, we will take in the size of the array which the user wants. Then we will take from the users what are the elements of that array. And using for loop, we will take those elements. After that, we will just print out those elements to the user so that he gets a confirmation of the elements which he had entered. So again, we are using for loop for printing the array elements. After that, we are calling the bubble function. Now in bubble function, we have to pass an array. So the basic syntax for passing an array is we have to pass the array along with the size of the array. So this is what the bubble function is. So here you just initialize the array from here and you also get the size. You again initialize a temporary variable to store during swapping. Now this first for loop is for the iteration process. So if you have n elements, then iteration takes place n minus 1 times as seen in this. So right now in this Excel sheet, I just showed you one iteration. So after every iteration, the largest elements goes at the end of the array. So this is for the iteration process. Now after that, the internal for loop is for comparing the elements. Now this for loop just runs through each and every element and compares them. Then this is the if condition. So we using that if condition, we check if the element is greater than or less than its successor element. So if it is greater than its successive element, then we store that element in temporary variable. We store its successor element in the jth position, and then again we retrieve the value from temp and store it in the j+1 position, and then we display the elements of the sorted array.
Just zoom a little bit.
Code में क्या? It's large. अभी ठीक है?
Yes.
अभी समझ में आया क्या कोड? Can you revise shortly? We should have sort function before printing. And yes, we are calling the sort function before printing n. So first of all, using this for loop, we sort the elements and then we print the sorted elements again. So second part मतलब sorting का क्या? Okay, so again going to the for loop. So first of all, we will start with I equal to 1. That is the iteration is we will start from iteration 0. So that means that no iteration has happened yet. Okay, and after every iteration, the largest element goes to the end of the array. So we so the end of the array is size minus 1. So if the size is 8, Then we set the limit to be 7 because the last index is always 7. And we set the condition as I++. So after every pass, it will increase. It will increment i's value. After that, we initiate this internal for loop is for checking through all the elements. So using this for loop, we go through each and every element again. So using this for loop, we try to discover each and every element. This for loop is for discovering each and every element. Then this if condition is to check whether the successive element is lesser than the previous element. So if this condition is true, then the swapping will takes place, and if this condition is false, then the swapping won't take place. And again, we will go on to index number 1 after 0. So comparison and iteration. Yes, there is iteration is the first pass. So after every iteration, so after you compare all these elements, then iteration takes place. So this is called as iteration. After each and every comparison, it happens as one iteration. So are you clear with it now? So should we move on to now, is bubble sort really efficient for everyday usage? Now what we learned now, bubble sort is a very basic algorithm. There are various algorithms like insertion sort, quick sort, merge sort, which are much quicker. So if you have, this was a very small data set. It just consisted of 8 elements. Now if you have a data set of 1000 elements, then you will get the response a bit late. That's why you generally don't use bubble sort that often. So is everybody clear with sorting algorithms?